Jake, a dealer over in Ireland, I believe Ireland, he's from Dublin, South Dublin. He asked me what tools do I use for my winter service, and yes, you are right, that is a small flathead screwdriver, and no, we don't scratch up the mower with it. Obviously, we don't want to dig into the plastics, but it's really handy for getting into cracks and crevices and for going along the straight lines. Right along those edges, I can put a little flathead screwdriver and get pretty much all the big hunkers of grass and dirt and mud off. And of course, using my bare finger works great many times. But as I do that, you see how much mud and dirt comes off before we ever even take something wet to it. Of course, that other item that's in my hand right now is a small pick. It's great for getting into the tiny little cracks and crevices, and it works a lot just like the flathead screwdriver, as I can use the actual flat edge of it to scrape along. Same as the flathead screwdriver, I'm able to get into many of those cracks and crevices and take off many of the hunks and chunks of grass before we use water, before we use any of our cleaning solutions or our scrub brushes. So it really goes a long way, and that little flathead screwdriver is probably my favorite tool. The next thing up, and I'm grabbing a little bit of water here, is our little handheld scrub brush. This is what we hit pretty much every single part and piece with. Why? Because it works. It works to get into many of the cracks and crevices. It works on all of the wheels, and to be honest with you, between that and that big purple container in the background, a little bit of hot water, you can get these things amazingly clean. I always tell our customers, they're not going to be spotless. I don't try to get absolutely every single bit of dirt off of them and make them look brand new. It's just never going to happen unless we disassemble the entire mower, and that's not economical for the customer. If we do that, winter service would probably cost $400 US or more. This little thing is my new favorite. It's a very stiff bristled brush meant for detailing cars, but it allows me to actually get into the cracks and crevices that the little handheld brush doesn't get into. And for the big surfaces, we typically don't use that little handheld scrub brush unless it's stuck on. We like to use a sponge, again with warm water, and that purple cleaning solution, which is a degreaser. It is perfect for cleaning these robotic mowers. Our WD-40 comes in handy for breaking loose the blade screws. We always spray a little bit on it, set it to the side. That way we don't ever try to remove one of the blade screws and it snaps off. Again, back to that flathead screwdriver. I told you, man, it's one of my favorite tools to use. And yes, you want to be careful to where you're not putting scratches all over the mower, but it works. You see how I'm getting in between the treads with it? Another trick for cleaning in between the treads is to throw that wheel into a bucket of water and degreaser, let it sit for a little bit, and then use that little white handheld scrub brush. Now, this is a tool that we use on occasion. I'm not a big fan of it because it throws a lot of dust and dirt in the air, and I was really afraid it would break some of the small plastic parts and pieces, but it doesn't. So, microfiber towel and a little bit of Armor All. I use the medium shine to go ahead and finish off the mowers when I'm done cleaning them. This mower actually still needs fully cleaned, but I use it as a perfect example of how we're able to get the final little dust off. It seems that we clean these mowers really well, and then before we get a chance to drop them back off, they get a little bit of dust on them. So when we drop them back off to the customer, we give them one final shine with that Armor All. Thank you for following.